If either Obi or Osinbajo were presently the Nigerian president, could they have been performing better than Tinubu? That's a big question. Well, as an analyst, I wouldn't want to take side, but if you look at Osinbajo when he took over temporarily from Buhari government, we saw an instant change. Obi seems to be full of energy, young with life. So these two people actually have life, have knowledge, also have more experience than Tinubu anyway. Even though Tinubu has been in politics for a long time, but these two guys are better Democrats and better technocrats than Tinubu. I think so. But then let's dive into the details and see exactly what it's all about. It is not an exaggeration to say that not a few supporters of President Bola Tinubu, particularly ahead of the February 25, 2023 presidential election, brimmed with hope as they campaigned for him amidst claims that he would perform better than his predecessors, former President Muhammadu Buhari, even as they further buttressed their facts that his capacity to resuscitate Nigeria's economy from the doldrums was far-fetched, as they arrogantly claimed that he performed very well as the governor of Lagos State between 1999 and 2007. In a similar vein, some of his supporters for the umpteenth times had even made reference to how he became the destiny helper of not a few political juggernauts in the western region of Nigeria and even in other geopolitical zones, boasting that it was his magnanimity that earned him the chieftaincy title Jagaban conferred on him by Emir of Bogu. Barely 6 months after the acclaimed Destiny Helper became the president of Nigeria, and who his ardent followers say he is a politician that is gifted with the ability to turn anything he touches into gold, life has not only become worse under him for many Nigerians, but it has become unbearable to not a few of them. So without resorting to a campaign of calumny in this context, it is expedient to recall that Tinubu came to power casting himself as a champion for the downtrodden, vowing to create jobs and tackle a cost of living crisis, even as he assured Nigerians of bettering the economy in no time. Okay, so his renewed hope on the economy was necessitated by the stark realities, so much that prior to his declaration to become Nigeria's president, not a few Nigerians, were struggling to put food on the table under his predecessor, former President Muhammadu Buhari. So since he became Nigeria's number one citizen on May 29, 2023, the unarguably ambitious politician who literally rode to power on the wing of the campaign slang Emiloko has been on a publicity overdrive, traveling across the country and beyond while touting Nigeria's economic potential in speeches. However, as far as many Nigerians are concerned at the moment, Tinubu has done far too little to improve the lot of ordinary Nigerians in a country where the National Bureau of Statistics asserted in December 2022 that 133 million Nigerians were multidimensionally poor. Yes, so it will be recalled that Tinubu had promised to restructure the economy, but his first act, even while he was being inaugurated on May 29, in the absence of a constituted cabinet, was to announce the abolition of fuel subsidies, causing petrol, transport, and food prices to soar, as it is proverbially said, it is the fact that gives insight to how nauseating and unpleasant the order of faces will be. So as if that was not enough, Tinubu criticized the management of the Central Bank of Nigeria, in its inaugural speech in May 29, saying that monetary policy requires a thorough house cleaning. And indeed, in 14th June, the CBN announced the unification of all segments of the foreign exchange market, replacing the old regime of multiple exchange rate windows for different purposes with, in effect, a market rate, thereby immediately triggering the fall of naira, okay, to 36% against dollar on the official market. So, given the backdrop of the foregoing views, it is expedient to ask if either Peter Obi or Osinbajo were presently the Nigerian president, could they have been performing better than Tinubu? Without categorically answering the foregoing silent question, okay, particularly as not a few Nigerians are groaning under an unprecedented economic hardship, it is expedient to opine that Yemi Osinbajo, a former vice president who is reputed to be articulate, professional, and lawyer who knows his onus, could have been doing better as a president against the backdrop of his preceding view. Not a few readers of this piece will ask, was he not the vice president to former President Muhammadu Buhari, who unarguably messed up the economy? But the response to that foregoing question, it is germane to recall that on January 19, 2017, when the former president departed for London in a trip that was initially announced as an annual vacation, but which later turned out to be an extended medical vacation that he handed over to Mr. Osinbajo, who acted in the capacity of a president for 50 days, and within the period, which was less than 2 months, the former vice president was applauded by not a few Nigerians, including the former president, for demonstrating the sterling leadership qualities that saw him swear in a new chief justice of Nigeria, sign 7 bills into law, crisscross the restive Niger Delta to appease the oil-producing communities, amongst others, critical national assignment. Even within the period, the naira appreciated from 520 to $1 to 455 to $1. And that was not the first time the economy improved under his acting capacity as president. So, in fact, the former vice president's pace of action was commended by several Nigerians, prompting many to suggest that he should continue playing the major role in the economy, in the government. Concerning Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last election, it is not an exaggeration to say that he literally wrestled with the political cabals to become Anambra State governor and thereafter ran the state for 8 years. Now, without any scintilla of amplification, this his down-to-earth and judicial disposition to governance left Anambra State the better for it. As governor, he went out of his way to show that a politician does not need to use state resources to show that he is powerful. Against the backdrop of his personality, not a few political observers were of the view that were he to be the president today, that he wouldn't have been under criticism for reckless spending and patronage appointments as being witnessed today on that Tinubu. This is a very good piece, man. Okay. So it is also been argued that both political heavyweights have decent political and social profiles in a country where the politician's next door is a study in crash corruption. So Osinbajo has had little scandal both in the Ivory Tower and Lagos State. Even as vice president, he comes across as a decent human being. So in a similar vein, Mr. Peter Obi is a pragmatic businessman, street smart, educated, and reputed to have come into politics from a business empire and ran one of the best state administration in Nigeria in the past as governor of Anambra State. So despite the fact that the electorates during elections in Nigeria are usually swayed or misled from voting for candidates that are unarguably trustworthy and competent, not a few Nigerians in their lifetime want to see either Peter Obi or Yemi Osinbajo lead Nigeria as president. Okay, be that as it may, let's not be primordially sentimental in answering the following questions. If either Obi or Shibanjo were presently the Nigerian president, could they have been performing better than Tinubu? As crucial as this foregoing question is, it is expected that your answer is as good as mine and that it will be a guide when voting in the next election. Wow. So this is a very nice piece that has been put together. So there's a disclaimer here. The views expressed on this side are those of the contributors and columnists and do not necessarily reflect the Nigerian Voice's position. Okay, so trying to be neutral in this piece, it is quite obvious that if Peter Obi or Osinbajo were to be president, could they have performed better? Most likely, looking at the antecedents of the two gentlemen and the two political heavyweights, probably they would have done better. Because Tinubu, with his reckless spending that Nigerians have experienced in the past 6 months, and with his appointment of reward to people that supported him to become president, you now see that there's actually nothing. And most of the economic decisions that have been made so far, I don't think Peter Obi or Osinbajo would have made such, even as a mistakes. No. But all the same, a question has been asked. Let's have your view. Somebody saying, I say yeah and no. If any of the above have all it takes to repair the wicked foundation on work, okay, on it or work on it, there may be light, okay, in the tunnel, but not work on this foundation leads to destruction. Maybe it's the will of God because we can't phantom the ways of God. This guy's writing. I don't understand. Somebody say Peter B cannot do anything. Peter B is just making mouth. That's what they think. Until Nigerians stop sacrificing tribe and religion for competency, the country will never get to prosperity. And that is good. That is true. Somebody say, I don't believe that Osinbajo did VP for 8 years, not from his side. Peter Obi is fond of the nation by saying that he win the election that he came third. What is this one writing? Some of them that are coming here to write, if you know that they are very, very not knowledgeable enough. Peter Obi and Osinbajo will do far better than Emilokan. Facts are there to prove it. Exactly. Okay, yes, because both are not money mongers, and that is correct. Witchcraft questions. Those they are kidnapping and fooling. Who is this idiot calling Tinubu? He is. Let's leave that out, man. There is a clear difference between darkness and light. You don't need a prophet to tell you a true man of the people. Okay, either of them are more better for the job. The answer is capital no. Another person saying no. They won't have get the mind to remove the fuel subsidy, and that alone would have pushed their government to borrow more. Who told you? Okay, now that they have removed fuel subsidy, what is the impact now in the country? Someone said, I'm sure Obi would have taken a different path to economic recovery. But for Shibanjo, your guess is as good as mine. And that is it. All right, so thank you for listening. Let's have your comments.